Grr, how do I get into this mess?
That's far enough. You can't run forever, Mr. Phoenix, right?
What have I done wrong?
I cannot allow you to go on like this.
But I'm just a simple defense attorney.
Silence! You are no longer worthy of your title.
Ugh. I've had this dream before, someplace, some time ago. As if this day was written into my destiny. Today I'll stand in court as a lawyer. To prove a killer innocent. Hello, this is Phoenix, right? You don't look so well, dude. You're proving not guilty today, right?
If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me. Your precious friend's life's right on today's verdict, too.
Grr. Now listen up. You better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag not guilty, I'll never forget you. Ever. Forgive you. Maya. Phoenix. Phoenix. Mia. Maya, how's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to challenge me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. But you can't give up. There's still some hope left. Stop it, please. There's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. Arg, it said a cursed on guard again. Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore. I mean it. You will mean, pal. Ah, Gumshoe, I'm really sorry. Where are you? Let me join the investigation team on which is after the kill, pal. Then, you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we've got 0 leads on the guy. We're not gonna give up. Gumshoe, until the trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're gonna do everything we can and find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. That's true, I could do that if they found Maya first. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. I have to make the trial last longer? If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you got, then you two can draw it out. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. So, believe in us. We're gonna give it all we got, just like you. Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Yeah. Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it. Yeah, buddy.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Matt on guard.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being what exactly was Miss Andrews' role in this murder. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Miss Edgeworth, if you will please inform the court of today's proceedings.
Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape.
Then you're saying that she is guilty after all?
I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. But I would like to direct the court's attention to this card.
What is that? It looks like a shell.
This is the calling card of a certain assassin.
Assassin, you say?
Yes, one creator was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt Angard.
What a surprising turn of events!
I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can. At least until Maya is safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today.
Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please.
Okay, I'm, Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star.
And what is your relation to the defendant?
Well, that's, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him, in a way. Yeah.
Mr. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much.
Oh, sorry. Well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy.
On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct?
Yes.
But I didn't know that.
But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went.
All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Angard's room.
Okay, sure.
Huh.
After the awards ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me.
Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony.
Talking with the bellboy is no big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Angard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy.
What are you implying?
Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticker situation. Huh? A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just gonna have to charge in head first, right? Right, yeah. Let's do it.
After the awards ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room.
The defendant's room. Why did you go there?
Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother sort of, and I wanted to say congrats.
What's wrong? Why did you stop?
Mr. Wright,
What is it?
you're gonna try to trick me into a corner, aren't you?
Huh?
I know I'm just a poor underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer.
No one said you were, Mr. Powers.
No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy.
Every time? Witness, I'll personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony.
Sorry.
So, you went to the defendant's room, and then?
Hey, wait a minute. When and how did I suddenly turn into the bad guy here?
Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume.
Are you sure that was Mr. Angard?
Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then.
If that's the case, then he really can be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room?
He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy.
At first? What do you mean by that?
Well, he was in a bellboyish uniform, and he had a bottle of juice on a tray.
Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me.
Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy.
And why was that?
Why did I think that, Mr. Wright?
How am I supposed to know?
Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry.
I guess I'm gonna have to wait patiently on this one.
I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back.
You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant together, correct?
Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats.
Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange?
You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip.
A tip. Well, that's a perfectly normal thing to do.
So, how long did you watch the two of them?
Not more than a minute or two, I think. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me.
So who are these guests you're talking about?
You guys, of course. You and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway.
This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state, I ended up focusing on her. I say, in any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long.
After the award ceremony, I was saying there, is it?
Okay. Will he remember now, at first? What do you mean by that?
I didn't think he was a normal bellboy.
And why was that?
Why did I think that, Mr. Wright?
How am I supposed to know? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago, you stated...
You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip.
Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself?
Yeah, that's it. You really know your job.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he?
Perhaps we should let the witness tell us.
Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony.
You mean about the bellboy, right?
Yes.
Matt gave the bellboy a tip.
So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that?
Well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me.
How much it was?
But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked.
I'm afraid I don't follow at all.
Sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. The tip? Sure. The defendant is a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips when you agree.
Sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think.
A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court about how much would you say the defendant gave to the bellboy?
Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess.
And why is that?
Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash.
A roll of cash?!
Ah, well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it?
A very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. Just beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. Let's stay in character. The defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? He's got a point. I don't even get paid little rolls of cash for all my hard work.
So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it?
Payment, Your Honor.
Payment?
Isn't it obvious for the murderer of Mr. Juan Corrida?
Then the bellboy the witness saw.
Yes, he was the assassin.
Hold your horses now, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have any proof of this, do you?
Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelly the killer left at the scene of the crime.
Shelly the killer?
He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelly the killer.
Really?
What's wrong, Mr. Powers?
No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head, and I think I just figured something out.
Oh?
Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night.
What? Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir. Right away. Right? This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin. I'm sure of it. I mean...
Thank you very much. That is all we need to know for now.
Huh? But, I'm not done. There's still more.
Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer, then we shall see.
So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious.
That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. Ha, 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 ha. There's no laughing matter.
Sorry.
This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom.
And what time was it?
Well, I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8 p.m., right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that, and then I came back. And then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8 p.m. by that time?
You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers?
Sorry. I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats. That's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room.
Are you sure it was the same bellboy?
Yeah.
And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all.
But you see, well, he had those stitches in his face.
Erk.
So I'm sure it's the same guy that was talking with Matt.
So which room did the bellboy come out of?
Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room.
The victim's room, huh?
Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, alright.
Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we?
Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place.
So what exactly was so out of place about him?
Right. While the insipid grin.
Maybe because I have no idea what damage I think he's gonna say next?
Well, the bellboy was empty-handed.
Empty-handed.
That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you?
I agree that is a bit strange, Mr. Powers.
But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide or... No, I'm gonna pull a fast one. There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy.
But there really is.
There really isn't. But if you two are done being school children, bellboys are for room service. There's no reason for them to be empty-handed, ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Grr, Edgeworth, are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious?
I see. Very well. This court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony, please.
Yes, sir. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed.
So you're saying that it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed?
Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand, and there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass on it.
Juice? What kind of juice was it?
I'm pretty sure it was tomato juice.
If you could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge the bullet on this one for now. Proof, huh? Sounds like another job for the court record.
Yeah, so he had to be the assassin. I'm sure of it.
Please don't be so quick to judge.
But it's kind of a Powers family thing. Think of every person as a thief.
Well, I guess the thief and an assassin are both sneaky and silent. That's not the point, Phoenix. In any case, if that bellboy was the assassin, it would be very bad for us. But he really is the assassin, you know? Yes, but you can't give in yet. If you want to prolong this trial for as long as possible, you're gonna have to pull some cheap tricks on this one. Empty-handed, you say? Then how do you explain... Here it comes. How do you explain this? Mr. Powers.
Yes?
You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true.
But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches, and...
So, a baseball has stitches? Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches?
Go? Well, there's also... I mean, what about him being empty-handed?
I would like to ask the court to please take a look here.
This is the crime scene.
There's a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Corita's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on top of the table in the lower right corner here, anyone can clearly see that it is a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corita's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left.
But that would mean the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room.
But can you prove that Mr. Corita was already dead at that time?
Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes?
I blame you for leading me down this road.
I am terribly sorry. What is with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us?
Is there?
The bellboy is empty-handed. Or should I say, empty-handed? He has no hand, Your Honor. He is missing his hand. I recall you had something interesting to say about his hand.
Oh yeah! I almost forgot.
Huh? What?
The bellboy, he is wearing gloves.
Gloves?
Yeah, pitch black, leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right?
Black leather gloves? Why didn't you mention them earlier?
Sorry, it slipped my mind.
Boy, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious. Alright, gotta focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves.
Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones.
So, a baseball is made of leather? Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they're made of leather?
Go?
But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant. And then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy.
It seems to me that we have finally come to an understanding. Now that witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest?
Oh yes, please tell us more.
Okay. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. he gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old guy just left, without even going to the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat.
So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, next went to the defendant's room?
Yeah, I kinda saw that by accident.
Some accident? I'd say you saw too much. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven.
I think it's safe to say that we can no longer... consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? That's right. Your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that.
Is that what you saw while you were busy spying?
Excuse me? I may be a poor, underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying.
Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all of this from, Mr. Powers?
Oh, from the door to the bathroom with my left eye, in a sort of sneaky spy-like.
I knew who was spying.
Please, does it really matter if he's doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know.
He gave something to the person inside the room.
I said, hold it.
Okay.
That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us more details.
Oh, okay.
I should probably ask him only one question at a time. Person inside or... Sure, person inside. So who took this something the bellboy handed off?
Actually, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
Only an arm.
Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face?
Yeah.
Well, it was Mr. Angard's room, correct? So it could have only been Mr. Angard himself, I'd say.
And then, what did the bellboy do after that?
Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room the thing, then the old guy just left, without even going to the room.
Where did this bellboy go? Where did this bellboy go after he left Mr. Angard's room?
He opened the door to Valhalla Hall, went in there, and who knows after that, right?
I do.
After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat.
Did you see anything strange, suspicious, or just out of the ordinary at that time?
Oh yeah, I saw that one thing.
What? He saw something else?
There was this jittery alien with a ray gun. He was watching Juan's door like some sort of stalker.
I think we can forget about the alien. Well, Mr. Powers' testimony just now was just as vague as was his first. It's a little troublesome, isn't it? But I'm sure if you press him enough, everything will become clearer. Although, that just makes it harder on us, doesn't it? Talk about a lose-lose situation.
After leaving one... Oh.
I said hold it.
Okay.
That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details.
Okay.
I should probably ask him only one question at a time. He gave something to this person?
Yeah.
And what was this something?
If I remember what it was, I wouldn't be calling it something, would I?
Well, this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers?
I think it was something kind of small.
I would like to summarize the testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all he could see was the person's arm.
Yes, he's just like that.
Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important?
Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client.
Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was that Bellboy handed off.
Well, let's see. I think it was... No...
If you remember, please add it to your testimony.
Yes, sir. If I saw it again, I could say for sure that I think it was some sort of wooden statue.
A statue?
Yeah, it kind of looked like one, I guess. If I saw the actual thing again, I'd probably remember it, you know?
Looks like for this trial to proceed, I'm gonna have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show it to him. You're gonna have to trust your instincts on this one and take a chance, Phoenix.
Well, Mr. Powers, let's continue with your testimony. What did the bellboy do after that?
Okay. Before that, I think I know exactly what the statue was. I said objection.
What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where did that objection come from? Well, speak up.
It is me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is gonna happen once I show this.
Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, deep breaths.
Mr. Powers, the something you saw.
Was it this item?
Oh, hey, that's it. That's something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out.
I recall we found this at Madame God's mansion.
At the village house? What does this mean?
It's simple, Your Honor. Shelly the killer assassinated Quan Crater in his room, and then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime.
Then the bear being found in Mr. God's mansion would mean...
It goes without saying, Your Honor. Mr. Madame God is the killer's client.
Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you.
Yeah. Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I almost forgot that he knew about it too.
I think it is clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial.
I can't let this happen. I have to do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please.
Yes, Mr. Wright?
There are still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull?
Oh, well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further?
Right? There was one thing in Mr. Powers' testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear.
He gave something to the person inside the room. I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear, we can barely...
Ah!
What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're gonna scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Actually, so, I remembered. I remembered who took the bear.
What?
Really?
I mean, I only saw his arm. But, the arm. It was the Nickel Samurai's arm. I swear it.
You've got to be kidding!
Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers?
Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai.
Order! It looks like you've dug your own grave, yet again.
How many times that day? I've lost count.
So the person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And as we all know, Matan God is the Nickel Samurai.
Thanks to the defense, we've made that all the clearer.
What am I supposed to do now, Mia? Help! You don't have time to act lost. You gotta find another angle to attack this from. Hurry!
Now, I will bring this cross-examination to...
Your Honor?
Again, Mr. Wright? We've already removed any and all questionable areas of this testimony.
It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright.
I had to find something. Even one more little point will do.
There are still questions left unanswered. What are you trying to pull?
But, oh, well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further?
The bear itself. What's inside it? I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable.
The bear, Mr. Wright?
This was found in Miss Angard's mansion. However, Miss Angard was arrested at the hotel that night, which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home.
Oh!
I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to say. It is not possible that it was Miss Angard who took this bear to the mansion.
Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home.
Phew! Disaster averted looks... You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. Huh? I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Angard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. I can't believe it. That butler, all this time, he was the killer. The killer and Angard were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding in Angard mansion as its butler.
What a bold move!
The bear figurine was brought back to Angard mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Angard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you have been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Isn't there anything I can attack at all?
I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at defendant's mansion, as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Angard. I see no reason for this trial to continue, therefore, I will now hand down my verdict. Right now, here we go. Here it comes.
Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? I knew it'd turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth.
Any last objections, Mr. Wright?
Well, do I? What should I do? Of course not.
I will now announce my...
There's only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is this one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found in a guard mansion. However, it's possible this is all the work of a certain other person.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, it's possible a different person is the killer's real client.
The real client?
Yes. Is this all you have?
But now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say is the killer's real client, and therefore the real murderer? But Adrian Andrews?
Yes, we already know that she tried to frame Angard for the crime by wearing a spare nickel camera cockcomb.
Ah! The nickel samurai's arm that I saw.
That could have very well been Miss Andrews.
But what about Mr. Angard?
If you would please recall yesterday's testimony, the defendant was taking a nap during the break period.
That's right. Then, finding this figure at Miss Angard's mansion...
It was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews.
Miss Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this?
I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic, besides which there's no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What's with this trial? Come on, anyone can tell Mr. Angard did it.
I can't believe the defense because it's hard to work.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's not something petty. It's murder of all things. He's making a monkey out of you.
This is
This is save Maya. This is save Maya. This is save Maya. This is save Maya. Even the whole world turns against me, this is save Maya.
Order, order, order! All disrupted parties will be forced to leave the courtroom.
Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with this what-if game.
His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth?
Prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. But, Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this wooden bear? He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear on guard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews.
And who would that be?
It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself.
I see. Well then, the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time.
Yes, Your Honor.